It's the new year, so let's start off on the right foot with another fan episode.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kansas 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back, and Happy New Year. 2025 is here. Hope y'all had a great one with family, friends, partying. Maybe not too much. Hopefully you're still not recovering from any hangover, but nevertheless, Happy New Year from us to you guys out here at Locked On Spurs. Let's make 2025 great. And speaking of making 2025 great, I couldn't think of a better way to start off the new year here at Los and with a fan episode. Besides, it's you guys. You guys make this show go. And what's for you all subscribing? Oh, by the way, on YouTube, Kansas 5 Plus app, Spotify, you know where to go. It wouldn't be here, so I had to bring in another fan, have a fan episode. Let's start off the new year right with you guys, your voice. And unfortunately, we can't have every single Spurs fan here. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the fan episode, I bring on one fan to give their take on the topic and the collective voice. Basically, they're going to represent the fan base. So what are we talking about today? Well, it's a new year, right? Let's get into some New Year's resolutions. What do the Spurs fans want to see the Spurs resolve to do better in the new year moving forward as their season continues? And then we'll get into some Locked On Spurs fan comments in just a few minutes. But yeah, there's so many resolutions the Spurs can make, right? Like getting wins, maybe getting above 500, maybe beating teams that they should beat. I remember the Chicago game. But nevertheless, there's so many resolutions the Spurs can do. And look, right now they're hovering around 500. I mean, not bad. But the bar was set low last year with just 22 wins. So anything is going to be better. But what can Spurs fans expect? What should they expect? So what do they expect from the Silver and Black in the new year? Let's get into some fan resolutions. Going to bring in our guest. He is back, everybody, representing the fan base. Ray Carter. That's a good guys. You ready to start off the new year here at Locked On Spurs?
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm glad to represent the Spurs fan base once again.
Yeah, once again. And just a quick note before myself and Ray continue. This is recorded before the Clippers game, which was on New Year's Eve. So if some stats are a little off, that's why. So just for time.
Look, assume we won. I'm going to assume we won. I mean, Clippers, come on.
I hope you're right, Ray. I hope we're not looking like chumps later. But so just keep that in mind as we move forward. In case Ray says a stat, it's maybe a little off by now. So you just have some time constraints, the New Year day and, time off is the best time myself and Ray can get together ahead of the Clippers game. So keep that in mind. But Ray, you want to follow him on X at RRRaving. So that's pretty much his name, then BING. And follow him right now. Let him know how cool that hat is that he has on right now. That's a cool hat, buddy. That's from last year, right? Or the middle Fiesta color one?
Yeah, it's during Fiesta when we had the blue ones. This was actually a gift one of my buddies got at Academy, surprisingly. So I was like, hey, I'm going to take it. It looks clean. I have this hat too that I got from the shop.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
I like this one right here.
That's a good one. All right. Well, it's a new year, Ray, which means resolutions now. I don't know if you believe in resolutions, but I'm pretty sure the Spurs fans want to see this team resolve to do better in 2025 as their season continues. Look, they're hovering around 500, which is not bad. Technically, it's been a successful season considering last year they probably were on that 18-game losing streak right now.
Yeah.
So, nevertheless, look, anything that was going to be well above an 18-game losing streak, 22-win season is going to be good. But despite the better play, there's a lot of room for improvement, a lot of resolutions the team can do to get better in 2025. Ray, you are representing the fan base. Let's start off with your first Spurs fan team resolution. What would it be?
I think it's being held accountable. I think what Chris Paul said, I believe a couple of weeks ago, he's like, we're not a young team anymore. We're professionals. We're in the league for a reason, and it's just being held accountable. Like he said, we're not that young team. Yeah, we have young guys still on this team, but we have like Keldon Johnson, who's been on the team since I believe like 2021. Harrison Barnes, Bassey, Zach Collins. This isn't the young team that we had those previous years. This is an established team already that we have, and we have Wemby, who's going into the second year, who I consider still that young guy. But besides him, nobody that accountable. We're so young team talk that goes out the window.
No, you're right, and I'm leaving Keldon Johnson's photo right there is because him, along with a guy by the name of Devin Vassell, are technically the veterans of the team. Now, I know Chris Paul is a veteran of the NBA, but as far as the longest tenure players on the roster right now, it's these two guys.
Right.
Do you think Spurs fans are kind of upset right now with their play? You hear Devin Vassell, he's so inconsistent. Keldon Johnson, he's just one thing. He just goes to the rim. That's it. You think Spurs fans are a little upset with their play this season?
I think so, a little bit, especially with Vassell, and I have all respect for Vassell, but he's been very injury prone this season. It seems like he would come back from an injury, play 1 or 2 games, and then have another injury happen. So, of course, that's something you can't really control with injuries in the NBA. But like Keldon, I love him, great player. I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple of times, but the inconsistency, like you bring up, like if he's not going to the rim, that shooting consistency isn't necessarily there. Defense-wise, again, it could be there one night, it could not be there the other. So that consistency that they both have is something that I could see a lot of fans being upset with.
But going back to your first resolution for the team, just pretty much getting rid of the label of we're just kids on the court. I think that's a huge resolution for the Spurs to do because, yes, they were a young team by average age, but they're not a young team by NBA experience.
Right.
6 years for Keldon, 5 years for Devin. Yes, there's Paul and there's Barnes. Okay, cool. But Zach Collins as well. Who else has been here for a while? Trey Jones, we're entering his fifth year. So, excuse me. So there is NBA experience on the roster, and Chris Paul is right. I do hope the Spurs resolve to shed the label of being a young team and play like they've been there, like they have been there, because they technically have been there. Just step up to the plate and do what you got to do to get W. That's a great resolution. Just get rid of that label, that young label that they tend to use as a crutch a lot. They really have. But Ray, what is your second fan team resolution you want to see this team get better in 2025?
Offensively, be consistent.
Okay.
That one has been a huge thing this season. It seems like you brought up, like we should be winning games against the Bulls, the Trailblazers. We should not be having close games like that against teams that don't really have a star, don't really have somebody to step up for them. Like what is it? The Knicks. Knicks game is a game that we should have won. We had a lead at one point, and we just lost that within the last couple of minutes. Just being consistent. I saw, especially in that game too, when we had that lead, we just started chucking up threes. I don't get why we do that, especially when we have leads. Like, I get it, but then you're giving the opportunity for the opponent to come back and win. So just being consistent, knowing that if you have a lead, keep that lead, contain that lead, because it's the NBA. Anything could happen. We've seen teams come back from 20 plus. We've seen playoff championship games come back 3-1. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but comebacks are possible in this league.
Okay, and look, for the most part, the Spurs have been doing better as far as holding on to leads. As of this recording at home, the Spurs are undefeated if they're ahead of the scoreboard going into the final frame. So that's good to see from this young team. All right, there we go. See, I'm using young team. From this team, I should say. This team, as far as growth and everything. But you're right. Holding on to leads, that's something they can continue to improve upon. They've made big strides this year, even when they're down to the deficit. Remember the Portland game in Portland? They were down huge. I thought they were done for. I thought, oh my God, here comes an L. And then they just stormed back in that second half to get the W. We saw that repeated a lot so far this season. And, as good as that is, Ray, for them digging themselves out of the hole, at the same time, I'm like, well, you still got yourself in a hole.
Exactly.
You still put yourself in that position. Don't do that. So, you're coming out of it, but don't
put
do
yourself.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a little bit more or less than often than not than with the Spurs playing a complete 48 minutes. Now, I get it. No team's going to be perfect for 48 minutes, but it's been a while. I think we've seen a couple of complete games from the Spurs team, but again, those have been fewer than we would like. But Ray, those are great resolutions. Shed that young label off their backs. Continue to develop and get better as far as holding on to leads and maintaining leads during games. Those are great fan resolutions. What are mine? Let's talk about that coming up next. Yeah, we're going to dig into what I think the Spurs should resolve to do to get better in the new year. But first, let's talk about game time. And when I talk to you about Game Time, go to gametime.co right now. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks. Makes getting tickets easier for your favorite live events that much better. Game Time filters out the fluff, so you only get incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Hey, Game Time has it all. They have the super deal. They got seats view before you buy. They got curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on great seats, the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. You will be pleasantly surprised with this app. Go get it right now. Game Time Picks, again, that's a curation that makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Hey, they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Hey, I want to talk to you about Mudslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee. Go there right now. San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have it all. Great menu, cold drinks, hot drinks, coffee, the signature drink, Mudslinger, iced lattes. Pick something you're craving. They'll have it. Check out the menu. We're a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs and a proud community member serving San Antonio the best coffee in the city. Go there right now. Open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have the Lightning Bolt series, which includes the Alien, which is a drink made in honor of Victor Wembanyama. You got to try it. Speaking of which, hey, they have these drinks, like I was mentioned right now, the Lightning Bolt series. They're going to be containing Lotus Energy. That's 7 power plant extracts. That gives them flexibility to create new drinks. But if you want Red Bull, you just tell them and they'll put it in there. But the default will be Lotus Energy. Go there right now, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. They even got mini donuts. Best spot in the city to get yourself some coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio. Follow them on social media at Mudslinger SATX. Go there right now because life is too short for bland coffee.
As the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs to start the new year right with the fan base. Got Ray Carter here in the house. He's representing the fan base. He just gave his fan resolutions that he'd like to see the Spurs improve upon in the new year. Time for mine, but make sure to follow Ray on X. You see his handle on the screen right there is RR Raving. Do that right now. Good follow there. And he puts out this thing that supposedly Rhea Ripley wants him. I don't know if that's true or not.
It's true. It's true. I've seen some videos of her recently at some of the house shows they got. She wants me. I know she wants me.
What? As the practice dummy?
Hey, I'll take that as well. I'll take Phoenix as dummy.
All right, Ray, you gave us your fan resolutions and, of course, what you like to see from the Spurs. It's time to go to mine. So I think the big one for me is just the three-point shooting. That's been an issue for me when I watch this team play. It's almost like they're going to die by the three if they're not connected on it. Like goes for the most of the NBA this year. I mean, that's one of the big knocks on the league. It's like, too many three-point shots, but unfortunately, that's the era the Spurs are in right now, and they got to start connecting on them. So they've been inconsistent, Ray. They really have been inconsistent. And this new year, I want them to be a little bit more consistent with the final games of the season. At last check, I think they're about 22nd, 23rd in the league. That's near the bottom when it comes to a three-point shooting percentage. I think the best way they could do that is just do more catch and shoot. Whether that's Chris Paul penetrating, kick out. We've seen that already with Wemby. Chris Paul, he kicks out to Wemby and Wemby connected on the threes. But when you have your 7'4" guy as arguably one of your better 3-point shooters, that's not good. Champagne's been doing good to start the season. You know, he's kind of got a little cold of late, but he is really just them two. It's really just either Champagne or Wemby. You're not going to get that shooting from Sochan. You're not going to get that shooting, that consistent, or at least potent threat outside of the 2-point range from Keldon, from Trey, from Devin, maybe Barnes. I mean, throw Barnes in there, but yeah, driving kicks. I think that'll help the Spurs generate more threes, at least cleaner looks. Maybe that'll help them connect on the 3-point shot, and of course, open up space for Wemby to operate. So that's my first resolution. Just get better on the 3-point line. Spurs. What do fans have to say about the 3-point shooting from the team?
It's definitely been a killer. It's been one of those, like I brought up the Christmas game. We had that big lead, and all of a sudden we started chucking up threes, and that lead slowly came down. So you're not wrong. The 3-point has been a huge weakness the Spurs have had it seems like for quite some time now. Like really outside of 2014, maybe when we had Patty and Danny Green, I would say maybe at their prime a little bit. They were known to hit the three for us. But outside of that, we really haven't had anybody like maybe Victor, like you said, Vassell here and there. But outside of those, we have no 3-point identity. And I think that's what's costing us games. Because before we were a mid-range kind of group. And now that we've gone away from that, and like you brought up, simply threes now, that's what the league is doing. We got to fit in. We just haven't fit in that mode yet.
No, the Spurs have not, and hopefully that's something they clean up in the new year. All right, so what is my second resolution for the Spurs in the new year? And that is, well, road performance. This year, the Spurs, they play good at home, and look, it could be a factor of the schedule. I don't know if you noticed, Ray, but the Spurs schedule was heavily front-loaded with home games. Heavy. In the second half, it's going to be heavily loaded with road games. So the Spurs are probably not going to be in San Antonio as much. But we've seen them play a little worse on the road than they do at home. 3-6 record, I believe. They got lower shooting percentages. 3-point line shooting on the road is just bad. The defense is, something like it'll be very like, what are y'all doing out there? We saw busted play versus Minnesota. I mean, Sochan should not be taking that final 3 shot. There's no way. I understand he had a clear look. I get that. But that play could have been better to already get good. Should they've gotten that win in Minnesota? So, the just road performance and beating good teams on the road. Mitch Johnson mentioned that after the loss to Minnesota, saying, hey, we got a good taste of what NBA basketball is on the road against good teams like Minnesota. So I think that'll bode well for the Spurs. So I'd like to see better improved play away from San Antonio, because second half of the season is largely going to be road games. You got the road trip, you got the Paris games, and you got to sprinkle in a few of these 3-4 road game trips that they're going to have in this, after in the new year. What do you think about the road play, Ray? And what do fans say about them playing away from San Antonio?
I mean, the road games kind of are, like you said, they're hard to win. Of course, when they're here in San Antonio, they want to show out for their fans. Like you said, as of this recording, they're undefeated. But it's all about kind of taking over the stadium wherever they're at, whether Sacramento or even Minnesota, like you said. Just the fans there need to kind of take over. We've seen like the Lakers, when they come to San Antonio, that whole arena is yellow and purple, or purple and gold. So Spurs fans need to start taking over, giving them that kind of home feeling that they have here. But it's just, like you said, it's horrible on the road. It's not been their greatest ally ever. Like last season was a huge factor on the rodeo road trip. I don't think we won a game that whole road trip. Mm-hmm. But the Paris one, I feel like, could work in our factor just because Wemby having that home presence. I feel like maybe Diaw might show up, Tony Parker as well. So having those stars connected to the Spurs can kind of give them that home feeling in a sense. But it comes down to the fans. They need to show up, support, be the loudest out of every arena that they can to give them that confidence that they need.
Yeah, and you see a lot of Spurs fans at road games. So the Spurs fans definitely show up, but perhaps just do what the Lakers do in San Antonio, the fan base that is, and just show out. But look, you can go up and down this roster, and again, they're about 500, which is still good, considering this team is in a rebuild and they're just coming off a bad season. There are a lot of positives. Chris Paul has been a big positive. Wemby's, why don't even bother? He's just been phenomenal. It's funny, Ray. Every time I talk about Wemby, I get asked, well, what more can you talk about? There's some times I'm like, yeah, what more can I talk about? Like, if you're to tell me, like, again, he played the Clippers before this recording, if he dropped a quad dub, I'd be, okay, sure. Okay, yeah, not surprised, but, that's how crazy it is. But you're seeing the improved play of Wemby. Sochan statistically is having a fine season. So there's a I have to weigh it. There's probably a little bit more pros and cons right now, but you still see some of the young, or should I say inexperienced, pop up from time to time. And look, there's a lot of resolutions. Hoping in the new year, the one resolution is pop to get healthy. Healthier, and maybe come back this season. Their resolution is for the Spurs to have maybe just kind of test the waters in the trade deadline, Ray.
That was one.
That's something we got to talk about here. Is that a resolution the Spurs should do? Is just, I'm not saying pull a trigger, just resolve to test the waters.
I think you do it. I mean, we have Wemby who's playing right now like his best basketball ever. I think he's already cemented his Defensive Player of the Year. And if they don't give it to him, well, then the NBA is rigged.
Travesty. Yeah.
That is a travesty to have. But, the Spurs said they want to win now, at least from what I've seen, reports and all that. They want to win now. And I think right now with Wemby, what we have right now, and Chris Paul, who's been good so far, offensively not the best, but he's been giving Wemby looks, those numbers that he needs that he didn't have last season. So I think it's great that maybe, like you said, test the waters. De'Aaron Fox is a huge name I see popping up a lot. And I wouldn't mind that, because if Chris Paul doesn't stay, if he retires after this season, De'Aaron Fox is stepping right up. And on top of that, he's playing with CP. So he could still have that little help that he has right now to travel with him into the next season. But even get role players on top of that, I wouldn't even mind. Get some vets.
Yeah, exactly. So again, there's so many resolutions the Spurs can do, but we're only limited time here on Locked On Spurs. But we want to hear from you. What are some Spurs resolutions you want to see in the new year, 2025? It is your episode. It's called a fan episode. Ray's just here representing the fan base, but we got to hear from you. Let Ray know what you think on X at @RRaving right now. Make sure to follow him right now and subscribe to Locked On Spurs, where you can leave comments. Speed of comments. We're going to be diving into some Locked On Spurs fan comments. Might as well just keep the fan theme going here. Let's see what you guys are talking about right here on Locked On Spurs. But first, we got to talk about FanDuel. Hey, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need and the place where to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So you get a hunch in the middle of a game. You can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bet. Just visit FanDuel.com right now to join today. By the way, the app is very easy to use, user-friendly. It's very intuitive and not hard to navigate whatsoever. Sign up is easy. Hey, look, NFL action, as mentioned, is underway. NBA action is underway. Your Spurs are underway right now. What more do you need? Go to FanDuel.com right now to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets. Again, $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. All that takes is just for you to go and sign up right now. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Hey, everybody. This is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from the San Antonio Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rhea Ripley's boyfriend, Ray Carter. Is that true, Ray? Is that true? Is that absolutely true?
Due to our relationship, we gotta keep it confidential. All right. She could probably just pile drive you and break your back like Bane style, right? I'd be fine with it, like who wouldn't, if I could have that framed up in my house one day, be like, hey, she did that to you, I'm gonna wear it with badge of honor.
All right. We are talking to Ray about what the fans are talking about, the fan base on this first episode of the new year on Locked On Spurs. Again, couldn't think of a better way to start it than with you guys, the fans who keep Locked On Spurs going. Ray, let's go to dive into some Locked On Spurs fan comments. Let's do that right now. So, in the last episode before the New Year's Day, we had an episode just catching up on the latest of the De'Aaron Fox trade rumors. The Spurs are rumored, the Lakers and the Rockets, right, and whatnot. But a lot of Spurs fans are reacting to that. So let's dive into one of them right now. This is from Jedi Tricks. Good name, by the way. Jedi Tricks 7605. He says Spurs need to act swiftly. Wemby wants to compete already. What do you think about that? You think the Spurs got to make a move to keep Wemby happy, keep the team competitive, and would that move be De'Aaron Fox?
I think right now it would be De'Aaron Fox. Like he said, when he came into the league, I'm ready to win now. I'm ready to win championships. I don't see him as a Kawhi Leonard type or DeJounte where he's going to force his way out. He's already said he's loved San Antonio. Even before he came to San Antonio, he's like, I love San Antonio. I love the Spurs. So I think to keep him happy, because, of course, he's still a rookie. He's still, doing his things. Who knows what can happen in 5 years, 10 years. If he decides that they're not giving me what I need to win, I'm going to go somewhere else. But I think right now that step is getting De'Aaron Fox or somebody like a star player to help him. We could have had it when Kawhi was here with Paul George. That happened. That didn't happen, unfortunately. So I feel like to kind of right your wrongs, give a star player to help Wemby, because Spurs fans have been wanting a championship too. That's been no secret. Ever since we had it in 2014, we want to go back and get the gold. So I think right now is a little domino to set off to get a championship.
Yeah. De'Aaron Fox would definitely help the Spurs get out of that rebuild faster. But the Kings are going to want to haul back. And the thing about it, the Spurs can afford that sticker price. They really can't. You need multiple first rounders, not a problem. We got tons of them. We got ours this upcoming draft. We got Atlanta's. We got tons of second round picks. We got players on the roster that we can flip. So the Spurs can match that. But then you got, the competition like Houston. Houston has ready-made players right now. Your Fred VanVleets that'll help Sacramento.
And then, of course, the Lakers are
Lakers. Yeah.
They just got rid of D'Lo. So,
yeah, there's that. So that's why I think maybe, the Lakers might kind of start fading away in this De'Aaron Fox thing. Then you got Sacramento. They made the move firing Mac Brown. Was that a move to keep De'Aaron Fox? Although De'Aaron Fox did shoot down reports that he and Mike Brown were butting heads, but take it what you will. So it's still fluid right now. But it looks like Spurs fans definitely want to see the Spurs making a move, and De'Aaron Fox looks like one of them. We appreciate that comment from you, Jedi Tricks. Next one's kind of a fun one. So you heard the news that Jeremy Sochan cut off his green hair, no longer, and it's off. So, he'll probably come with a funky color soon enough, no word there. But Spurs fans are already feeling the hurt of it. This is from Shay Bell, 8495. She writes, I'm going to miss his hair so much. Sad emoji face. You're going to miss that green hair? Our Spurs fans already missing the green Grinch hair?
I think it made it unique to his previous colors that he's had before.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Taro Katani, the Spurs fan, when they went to the Brooklyn game. He had the wig on. So I think they're going to miss it. But, of course, Sohan's not going to disappoint with his next color hair. Yeah. I can see him maybe doing like a split black and silver.
Heck, cool.
Even something, I don't know why, I see something blue. Maybe that teal blue, like I believe he's had it before. If not, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I don't know. Sochan never disappoints with his hair. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, yeah. This is a fan episode, everybody, and everybody, the Spurs fans love seeing Sochan's hair color. It's like a rainbow at this point. But let me ask you, how far are you willing to go to own a piece of Jeremy's hair? And I'm not kidding, everybody. Not kidding.
So
There's an actual eBay auction. I'm assuming that the barber that cut his hair, Sochan's hair, collected that green hair, packaged it, put it up on eBay auction. I'm not kidding. Don't believe me. Go to kensbuy.com/Spurs. You'll see it for yourself. And it's up for over $1,000 at auction. Ray, you have that kind of cash. You're gonna go get that that collectible item, right?
I love Sochan, but I'm not gonna get a piece of his hair, man. So, but yeah, it was his barber because he on Instagram he shouted him out saying, "Man, you're crazy." I don't know what any fan would. I mean, I've seen fans get people's gum before.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Even I'm a big Elvis fan, so I've seen fans even get a clip of his hair when it was cut. I'm not getting that because I'm like, that's kind of weird. But I guess, like you say, if it's gonna be collectible, it's if the green hair is gonna get popular, might as well get something out of it.
I can't go that far, Ray. I can't. No way. I cannot do that. You know, if it was, let's just say, like you say, Sochan wrote out a play on a piece of paper, like for during a timeout, like on a scratch pad. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, but like no, like hair, somebody's DNA. No, I can't do it. I cannot do it. But I know Spurs fans, I think at least from the reaction from the eBay listing, Spurs fans are actually interested. At last check, there were like 6 people watching it. Bids are already being made. So yeah. And you know, I had to double, triple check if I was seeing it right. Like I thought, well, maybe somebody just took a wig and just cut green hair and it's Sochan's. But no, there's actually a photo of Sochan holding
That's
on
what I was thinking.
the bag. Yeah. Where he got his haircut. You can see the barbershop. He's in there. You see the chairs and the air gun to blow away the clipped hairs. And so it's legit. So I would not go that far. I am not going that far. But Ray, you got the cash for that. So it's probably just chump change for you, right?
Just a little bit. But I'd rather get like WWE tickets to like meet stars and get a clip of hair.
All right. Well, there you have it. Some Locked On Spurs fan comments left on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Go subscribe there right now. Ray, thank you for coming on here and doing another fan episode with us, representing the fan base to start the new year right here at Locked On Spurs. Ray, you still work. I know you do a lot of WWE, just wrestling coverage. You got something cooking for us?
So I have something in the works.
Ooh, if you don't want to leave it back, you want to tease it. That's fine. Yeah.
I'll say it because it's looking like it's gonna be confirmed. So I am actually gonna have the privilege of interviewing Matt and Jeff Hardy. So if you have any questions, I can't guarantee I'm gonna ask them all questions. I'm still working on how much time I'm gonna get with them, etc. So if you have any questions you want to ask them, either leave a comment below this or at my Instagram or Twitter as well.
Or your ex, your ex.
So my ex, R Raving. It's the same thing on Insta as well. If you have that, just leave me a message. I'll see what the comment is. Of course, I don't want to ask anything too crazy to them. But yeah, I'm really super excited. Last year, this year, I interviewed Dolph Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth in TNA. So it's in the process of maybe more superstars.
All right. Well, what are they badmouth your girlfriend Rhea though? Are you gonna have to handle business?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit him with the RKO, maybe even a Swanton, their own move. But if they ain't got time to put it, I ain't gonna.
All right. Ray's a lover. He's not a fighter. But make sure to follow him on X at @RRaving. You see it on your screen on the YouTube side of things. Follow him right now, and throw in your questions. See if he'll bring up those questions to those professional wrestlers that he's going to be talking to soon. But again, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free to go over every good podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Kensby Plus app, YouTube. Go there and subscribe right now. Check out the Locked On Spurs newsletter. If you're on YouTube, it's in the description below. Click the link. I made it very easy for you. It says LOS newsletter. Click on that. It's free. Go sign up. I would greatly appreciate it. So for Mr. Ray Carter, aka Rhea Ripley's boyfriend. I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.